Hello and welcome to Sensational South. I'm Harish Upadhyaya. Over the next 30 minutes, we bring you all the major news and newsmakers from across South India. Our top story today comes from Tamil Nadu. A recent order of the Madras High Court restricting the entry of non-Hindus into the temple has triggered a political controversy. The DMK is looking for legal options to in any way ensure that it can allow non-Hindus into the temple. The BJP says this once again shows the anti-Hindu stance of the DMK. How will this pan out? And both these parties, can they get any sort of a electoral advantage because of this? We'll debate that, but first the story.
Non-Hindus not allowed beyond the flagpole. This is the significant ruling given by the Madras High Court. The High Court directed the Tamil Nadu Hindu religious and charitable endowments to install boards near the Kodimaram or the flagpole area, implying that non-Hindus will not be allowed beyond a certain point inside the temples in the state. The boards will now be installed at the entrance of the Palani temple in Tamil Nadu. The Madurai bench of the Madras High Court stated that if any non-Hindu wishes to visit a deity to offer prayers, he or she shall then sign an undertaking from the individual that he or she has faith in the deity and would follow the customs and practices of Hinduism and of the temple. Justice Srimati said that the temple was not a picnic or tourist spot and ought to be maintained with reverence. The significant ruling by the Madras High Court has sparked a big political controversy. The BJP was quick to respond to the order and welcomed the High Court's judgment.
We welcome this judgment, and the government has to follow the rules very strictly. And they have never said that the non-Hindus should not come. They say that temples are a place where you respect sentiments of the devotees. And that sentiment should be respected by those who doesn't follow this religion. That's what they have said. The judgment is 100% right.
During the hearing, the state government argued that Tamil Nadu is a secular state and that prohibiting the entry of non-Hindus who have faith in the deity will hurt their religious sentiments.
We will definitely contest the verdict. We do not think anyone could be stopped, right? There have been people even earlier who are not of Hindu faith but having believe in Lord Muruga visited Palani temple. As long as they have followed the Hindu traditions and the rules of the temple, there is no problem. And they are only not allowed inside the sanctum of the temple. But there are people of different faith who also have interest in Hinduism, and as we are secular form of government, we do not stop them from entering.
The state government has also requested the judge to restrict the order with respect to the Palani temple alone. But the judge said the order shall be applicable across all temples in the state.
Well, to take this debate forward, we have an eminent panel joining us today. We have Mr. Surya of the BJP. We have Mr. Dharnidharan, spokesperson of the DMK. We have Mr. Ashish Dikshit, a lawyer, to give us a legal perspective on this entire issue. Mr. Dharnidharan, you've seen this order. How does the DMK respond? Not just as a party, you're also in power there. How do you respond legally, sir?
As I said, we will go and contest the verdict. So the concerns we have also raised during our reply in the learned court was that the immediate installation of display boards prohibiting entry of non-Hindus who have faith and belief in the deity would not only hurt their religious sentiment, would also run contrary to the rights enshrined under the Constitution of India, Article 25 to 28. See, we also have to reiterate that many temples in Tamil Nadu are allowing non-Hindu religion people to enter temple as long as they follow the customs and practices of the religion as well as the temple. For example, the Meenakshi Amman temple provides entry even to foreigners for a fee of about 50 rupees. And they are restricted, of course, to the Kodimaram of the temple. Right. In fact, recently an honorable court ordered on 2022 dismissed a similar interpretation, in which when a public festival like Kumbhavesham of a temple is performed, it said that it will be impossible for authorities to check the religious identity of every devotee for the purpose of permitting his or her entry into the temple. And that part, the court also mentioned that if a person belonging to another religion has faith in a particular Hindu deity, he or she cannot be prevented nor is the entry into the temple be prohibited. That's what the court said. So that's why we are shocked. And us being a secular form of government, we think that anyone who has belief in Hinduism, irrespective of his faith, should be allowed into the temple. Right? I would like to reiterate there's a particular temple in Sri Rangam where the shrine is called, there's a shrine called as Vibhinachya Shrine. Or this Vibhinachya is the daughter of Mughal emperor, and even today the preceding deities offered roti with butter every day. Right? And there is also an instance in Nagapattinam district of Arulmigu Perumal temple where the deities during processions of certain festivals are halted before a mosque and offered prayers and respect. So this is why we think it's we will contest the order. And
absolutely, such practices are prevalent at multiple places, especially in South India. That's where I want to bring in Mr. Surya. Mr. Surya, do you think this is something that will stand the legal test if it goes to a larger bench or a Supreme Court? Because you have the DMK saying that this is not constitutional at all. You can't have such an order in a democracy.
If DMK thinks so, they should amend the Temples Entry Act that is already in place in Tamil Nadu. According to Temples Entry Act Section 3, non-Hindus are not allowed inside the temples. Subsequently, you went ahead and framed the rules that non-Hindus are allowed if they subscribe to Hinduism, if they profess Hinduism, and if they believe in Hinduism. Now, let us take this particular incident which happened where this judgment has come and we are discussing. So there is a Muslim shop owner who has a shop in the foothills of Padani temple. His name is Shahul. He has brought some of his relatives, including burqa-clad women, to enter the temple and visit the temple. And his argument is, when the temple staff say you cannot go into the temple because you are a non-Hindu, Mr. Shahul says, this is a tourist spot and hence I should be allowed inside the temple. The temple staff are telling it is not a tourist spot. So the very idea of visiting a temple, having in mind it as a tourist spot, is the problem for us.
But
you can visit
Mr.
the
Surya,
temple if
do you believe that might be a
believe in the
faulty
deity.
argument by one person?
No, the law is prevailing.
But
because
can
of
it be
such
used at a...
No, my point is this is already
please go on.
This is already in the act. This is followed in every temple in Tamil Nadu. Even temples like Tirupati, Balaji temple, they follow this. This is already a prevailing section in the Temple Entry Act and also the HRNC Act. See, when you can non-Hindus go to Mecca or Medina? They cannot go. Why do they prevent non-Muslims? Because they say it is a sacred place, it is a holy place, it is not a tourist spot. So anybody who believes in Hinduism, they are welcome. Even today, the HRNC minister from DMK of Tamil Nadu, he says anybody who believes in Hinduism should be allowed inside the temple. That is the argument of the state government also. We say the same.
But will we start collecting undertaking from non-Hindus at the temple door, asking them to say that they believe in Hinduism before they enter? Is it practical, sir?
See, I agree it is practically not possible. But I think there should be a law of the day, which is already in the law book. Section 3, Temple Entry Act, clearly says non-Hindus are not allowed. Then subsequently you go on frame rules. You say that non-Hindus can be allowed if they subscribe to Hinduism, if they believe in Hinduism, if they accept to follow the customs of the temple. I think it is very fair because it is not a tourist spot. Like the judgment clearly says, there are agamas, there are beliefs. So we are not preventing, you are telling that you...
No, that argument was faulty. Perhaps everyone agrees. I'll bring in Mr. Ashish Dikshit quickly. Mr. Dikshit, from a legal point of view, how do you look at it? Is it something that can be imposed across? Perhaps, yes, as I said, this might be a faulty argument by one person calling it a tourist spot, or perhaps saying that he was there to show around. But do you believe this is something that can be implemented at all temples? Will it stand legal test?
Good evening to everybody. See, what the High Court has done, the High Court has only interpreted the Tamil Nadu Temple Entry Authorization Act of 1947. That already provides that a non-Hindu is not permitted to enter inside the temple. In fact, the High Court has given an exception that if there is a person who is not a Hindu, he can give an undertaking and can visit the premises, subject to him behaving in a manner that is appropriate of being a temple. See, a behavior of a devotee and a person who does not have devotional feelings would be completely different. So the High Court has taken note of this particular section, and the issue before the High Court was very limited. A person went to the High Court saying that because of the state removing these boards, people have started treating temple as a tourist spot. And the High Court, way back in 2023, already passed an interim order in same matter, saying that you reinstall the boards. Boards were
Yes.
existing. In 2023, it was directed to reinstall again. Now that a final judgment has come, it does not lay down something new. It only interprets a provision of law which existed in the statute book from 1947. Now, coming back to the point of implementation or non-implementation, or the state would find it difficult not to implement a law, cannot be a ground to not implement a judicial order. The state would be under a contempt if they would say that we are finding it difficult or it is practically not possible for us to implement. Many directions are passed by honorable court, which at the point when they are passed are found to be very difficult, but subsequently these directions are implemented. We can take example of Delhi pollution matter, the DTC buses issue. When the Supreme Court said that you have to replace all the buses moving in Delhi, it was found practically not possible, but it was done. So it is only when the political will is there and the state wants to implement the order, it can be done. And I reiterate myself that it is not something new which has been laid down by the High Court. We must be very sure of this thing.
Okay. Yes, that's where I will bring Mr. Dharnidharan. Mr. Dharnidharan, the legal perspective is that there is such an act, there's such a rule. The High Court is just interpreting that. Will the government look at perhaps tweaking this or taking it out completely then?
As I said, we will contest the order, and the respective minister, Mr. Sega Babu, will consult the chief minister and his officials and come with what should be done. As far as our stand is that the temple, any temple should allow people, even of different faith, as long as they have respect for the deity and they want to worship the deity and they want to follow the rules of the temple. As simple as that. Even if you look at Palani temple, it has been receiving foreign tourists also who have been having have been having faith in Palani Murugan. They've been non-Hindus, foreigners who've been visiting because they've been having faith. So that's as simple as that.
But Mr. Dharnidharan, do you believe if not for the elections, this wouldn't have become such a huge controversy?
See, as we always say, as Mukesh also iterate, right? DMK as a party is not against any religion. We embrace all religion, and we have done for all religions more than any other party. But what we've been urging is keep spirituality away from politics. There has been certain party here which always wants to do politics in the name of a certain religion, which is something we always been wanting to avoid, because this is a secular land. We should go to people in the name of development, what we have done in healthcare.
BJP, even recently, Miss Nirmala Sitharaman came out and said it continues that in Tamil Nadu, the DMK is anti-Hindu. Does it in any way put the DMK on the back foot, especially on this issue, considering the onslaught by the BJP in the recent past?
Yeah, I think 1967 is the one form of the DMK that's been in power in Tamil Nadu. And 1967 when DMK came to power, and from then to now, majority of the people in Tamil Nadu are devout Hindus. In fact, Tamil Nadu highest number of temples per lakh population. And these are the people who have been time and again electing DMK, which means that people here in Tamil Nadu understand that spirituality is separate from politics. Here, people vote for development, educate what the party has done for education, what the party has done for social welfare, what the party has done for healthcare. Religion is something separate, and DMK as such has done for Hinduism also. We are the first party to introduce, when we were in power in 96, DMK government became the first government in whole of India to introduce pension to the priests. Temples here are well maintained. After my leader came to power in 2021, we increased the pension for the priests. We reclaimed temple land worth more than 4,000 crores. So rhetoric can be whatever, but if you look at policy and what the DMK government has been doing, we have been focused on point to or for people of all sections, all religions, and all walks of life. That's about it.
Okay. Surya, do you agree? DMK says we've stood for Hindus as well, but we keep our politics and religion differently.
No. In the same case, the state government has took apparently a secular viewpoint, and they had argued that prohibiting entry to non-Hindus who believe in the deity could hurt their religious sentiments and contravene their constitutional rights. But this is against the act. Let me tell you clearly, the courts and also there are rules which clearly says that they have to believe in Hinduism to enter the temple. So the government should make it very blatant. It cannot satisfy both the sides by telling, I want non-Hindus also to enter, but it cannot hide the fact that non-Hindus should subscribe to the Hinduism or its ideology or its practices. You cannot have it both the ways. Let us tell it very clearly that non-Hindus are welcome, provided they believe in Hinduism and the practices of the temple. But you see DMK spokesperson here, minister there, and everybody, even in the court, they are omitting the second part. They want non-Hindus to enter, but on what condition? That is our question. Why can't they be very blatant about it? Why is this hide and seek game? Be blatant about it. It is the act that is in practice for so many decades. You are just implementing it just for the vote bank pressure or the vote bank tactics. You cannot tell that you will not follow the prevailing act that is in place. Come on, you cannot play vote bank with everything. Temple is it's a very sanctioned place. It is a very important place for the deity, and it is considered very pious. So let us please give the respect it deserves without bringing in vote banks. That is my only request.
Yes. Mr. Dharnidharan, beg your pardon, Mr. Surya, one argument is what Mr. Dharnidharan and the DMK are saying. But if you look at social media and elsewhere, ever since this controversy, many people are pointing out that there have been practices, especially in South India, where perhaps when kids are not well, whether they are Hindu kids or otherwise, they are taken to a dargah or a church. It happens the other way around as well. How will we now deal with that? Will it open up a Pandora's box is the question.
No, I totally agree to that. Even local temples, we see people from other religious denomination, they come to practice. But these big temples which follows Agama, it is a different, it's entirely different. So as per the rule book, as per the whatever is there, we have fixed some conditions. So why dilute it? It is already in practice. Here the problem is the government refusing to place the board under Section 3 of the Temple Entry Act. Our question is, boards are there in every temple. Why in Palani you do not want the board to be placed?
Okay, Mr. Ashish Dikshit, how do you see this panning out? As you said, the state government can amend the existing law about this or perhaps go to the court. But if you look at the wider picture, as I mentioned, it could also open up a Pandora's box if other religions come out and start saying that we will too seek an undertaking by people coming in. How would then that play out, sir? What is the way out?
See, this is possible only because of the act which has been placed in 1947. I am not aware if there is any rule in the other religions, because mostly the acts are concerned with regard to Hindu religion. The central government and state government have not formulated policies with regard to the regulation of people stay in masjid or church. That is left to the management of the church. So to say that it will affect other other religious places also at this stage may not be correct. And yes, the state government always has an option to challenge this, but I'm afraid the interim order, to my best knowledge, was not challenged, because I was trying to research. I could not find that the order which was passed in 2023, which directed installation of boards, was not challenged by the state government. So whether they have somehow accepted this could also be taken into consideration. But now, as the spokesperson is saying that they are likely to challenge it, that is their right. But till then, they have to implement the order. Otherwise, that would be a clear case of contempt of court.
Absolutely. Well, with just around 2 months left for the Lok Sabha election, and with the BJP accusing the DMK of being anti-Hindu, it'll be interesting to see how the government moves on this case. Thank you, Mr. Dharnidharan, Mr. Surya, and Mr. Ashish Dikshit for joining us on the show.